Hi, everybody. Welcome to our very first episode of Sparcnexus Journeys that Inspire. Today, we have on board with us a best selling author and entrepreneur whose story is sure to inspire all of us, Mr. Yogesh Chabria. First of all, sir, thank you so much for being a part of this initiative. We can't wait for you to share your story with our viewers.
Thank you so much, Ashna, for the kind introduction.
Yes, sir. So impact, entertain, educate, and transform all the things you've done. You're a best-selling author, award-winning speaker, and the founder of Happionaire. Like today, we have you, the business and success strategist, Yogesh Chabria. So welcome, sir. Thank you for
Thank you so much, Riva.
the
Thank you. You have some nice artwork on your wall.
All right, without further ado, let us begin with our interview now, sir. So, firstly, sir, we'd like to ask you, where did it all begin? What made you cultivate an interest in entrepreneurship? And what were the reasons that a career as an entrepreneur spoke to you?
I'll share a bit about myself. So, my grandparents are from Sindh. And, partition happened. And when partition happened, they had a lot of material wealth there. So, they had land, they had cows in those days. Cows were very valuable, but they had to leave everything there and come to India and start from zero. And growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. And, so we would always, like our family would always be thinking, okay, what can we do? What can we do? And the Sindhi community, has always tried to do something, to come back. And when they came to India, they used to live in these refugee camps, and there was a common toilet for 200 people. There used to be big snakes, and they didn't like it, right? So if you have had everything and suddenly you come this, you don't like it, and they said, don't call us refugees, call us displaced people, because we don't want anything for free. And it started, so our grandparents used to sell papad, used to sell all sorts of things. And growing up also, when I was 5 years old, I started selling toys. And it just started, so I started selling toys when I was 5 years old. And I really loved the thing. And one thing I realized, sales or entrepreneurship is very democratic. So my age doesn't matter, my gender doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I've gone to a good college like Hansraj or I've not yet gone to school. None of those things matter. And I liked, when I was selling toys, I liked the smile it brought on the face of people. So the other kids I used to sell the toys to, and it made me nice. I said, this is something I really want to do. And I believe entrepreneurship is that, helping people out, solving their problems, and getting rewarded for it. So that's how I started. I started selling when I was 5 years old.
That's really inspiring. 5 years is such a tender age, and to do something so big at that age, that's very.
I think kids nowadays sell even younger. Like my son, Samarveer, he sold these Rakhis made out of gobar. Okay,
Okay.
because I think that's the first thing he sold. Yeah, because our neighbor, they had kept some of these Rakhis in the building lobby, and they were, Rakhis made out of gobar. I found it very, very, amazing, because
That's very interesting.
it's very interesting.
Actually, yeah,
These
he inherited this entrepreneurial zeal from you only.
I think human beings have it in them. We all have it in there ourselves.
Right,
And
we just need to tap it.
yeah, he just went door to door, and I was telling him, don't tell people it's made out of gobar, because that might, reduce your, But surprisingly, I mean, he went to houses. Some kids bought it. It had a nice design, and so it's just. I mean, his own grandmother didn't buy it from him because it's. But I think it's there within us, right? And it's a basic thing we all have within us. So,
Yes, sir. So
I meet kids in the park. I meet kids in the park when I go with him. Sorry to interrupt you. And they all have this within them. They're like, okay, should we sell this? How much would we make? Because I mean, you see it around you, right? You know the value of money. You see it around you, and I think parents or teachers, they should just encourage. They should just encourage. Did you guys have such ideas or?
I mean, everybody wants to make more and more money. We've always had ideas to do something new, but there's always that motivation that a person needs to get that extra push and actually achieve it. So, right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So jumping to your career as an author, so what made you want to Happiness series? I mean, where did it all begin? What do you think should be the key takeaways, as readers take from your book?
Riva, I mean, even before the Happionaire series, I used to love writing. And I've always loved reading. So since I was a small boy, I used to read comics. I used to read comics of all sorts, Tinkle and Archies and Jughead.
So Archie's used to be my very favorite comics too.
Yeah, I mean, like Archie. Who was your favorite character?
Jughead.
Jughead, yeah.
The superpower to eat as much as you want and not gain weight. It's too intriguing.
Yeah, so I used to read. I used to read these comics, and in school, we used to have a school magazine. So I used to contribute. I used to share some jokes and some stories. And I was born in Mumbai, but I grew up in Tehran. My family shifted to Tehran, and when I came back to Mumbai to college, uh, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I had like free time. So I used to spend my time writing, and I used to contribute to different things. So you had something known as Jam, that was a youth magazine. You had JLT. So I used to just write, share my ideas. Funny stories, parodies. Making fun of some of the teachers. Like funny teacher type. And I just enjoyed sharing ideas. And then I started a blog, and the blog was basically to make the world of business more fun. I believe business investing more fun, and I got this word Happionaire while I was meditating. So I just got this word Happionaire, and I said, okay, when you get an idea, I believe there's a higher force that tells you to act. So if you go on Google right now, you can try it out. Just put Happionaire meaning. I mean, your listeners might be watching this, or if you just go on Google and type Happionaire, Happionaire meaning, you could both try it out, Riva and
Yes.
Ashna. What do you get?
So what is spirituality?
So it actually takes us to the link of your own book.
Yes, sir.
It will take you to my first post, Happionaire meaning, from 2008.
Right.
Yes, sir.
It's just a blog. It's in what? It's 2008. What's the date? Just if you put
15th Feb 2008. Right.
Yeah, it just started with a blog. It's just a blog post. It's Happionaire. If you just put Happionaire meaning, it's a post from 2008, right? 15th Feb 2008, and I just started writing this blog. 50. That's how many years? It's like 13 years from today. 13 years ago, and I just started writing. I was 22, 23 that time, and I just shared. I would just share it. It started with a blog, and my only motivation was, I want to share some ideas, help people out, and that's what led to the book. So I used to just run this blog, and one fine day, one of my friends, he came to me, he says, Yogesh, you're very good at sales and marketing. Can you help me get a job? And I said, yeah, sure. I'll help you get a job. What sort of job are you looking for? So he says, I love illustrating. I'm an artist. Can you get me a job at a company? So I said, no, but you have to tell me which, which company. There are so many companies. He says, I don't know. I said, no, you got to tell me which company. You got to know what you want. And he says, can you get me a job at CNBC? And in those days, CNBC had just started putting up billboards, CNBC TV 18. And I said, okay. So I went online. I found out who's the editor at CNBC TV 18. And there was a website like LinkedIn in those days called Rise. And I just wrote her an email. I said, hi, my friend's looking for a job. Can you just consider him? And I just put in down, there was a link, like below your signature, you have a link to there's a link to my blog. So she replied. She said, yeah, I'll definitely check out your friend, but I checked out what you're writing. Would you like to do a column on money control? And money control has like, I think, 20 million readers. I said, yeah, sure, I would love to do a column on money control. So I just started writing a column on money control. Again, if you put Yogesh Chabria money control, you'll get my first post. And that column became very popular because, it was really simple, breaking down business, breaking down investment. And because that column became popular, they came to me, they said, we are thinking of doing books, would you like to, write a book for us? I said, sure, I would love to write a book. And I wrote a book. The first book was Invest the Happionaire Way. I still have that first copy. It's like got typos and stuff. But this is me at like 23. I came out with this book, just sharing my journey. And you just keep sharing. You just keep doing good stuff and, help people. So had I not helped that friend of mine, I wouldn't have a book deal. Had I not started that blog, I wouldn't have it. So I think the smallest good deeds, I believe in the theory of karma. So just say yes to good things, you don't know what leads to what.
Right. So, sir, you mentioned that since a very young age, even when you were in school, you felt the motivation to speak out your voice and, express your voice to people. That's how you started writing, right? So, I'd like to ask you, how did your educational qualifications and your college experience shape you as a person?
I always liked writing, but there's something, till the eighth grade, I had never spoken on stage. But I remember in the eighth grade, the principal called me up, and I was a very mischievous guy. I said, okay, I don't know if I'm in trouble. Have I done some prank? And he says, no, Yogesh, I just shifted schools. So he says, Yogesh, you are the only one who knows French. So can you read a poetry on stage? And it was more like a command, you got it. When the principal says, can you read poetry on stage? It's more like you have to read. You can't say no, right, Riva? I said, yeah, okay, I can, of course. So I was very nervous because I'd never gone on stage and spoken. And I wrote down, so this poetry I read was, it was called Le Pelican, which is a bird, the pelican. And I said, one thing is good, none of the kids understand French. So even if I screw up, even if I don't know, nobody understands it. So I go on stage and I'm reading the poetry. And for like 30 seconds, my heart is beating really hard. My palms are all sweaty. My feet are actually shaking. But as time goes, like 1 minute, 2 minutes, I start enjoying it. And by the end of it, I feel nice. I feel confident. People are clapping. And I say, hey, this wasn't so bad. It was good, And a couple of people made fun of me. They said, oh, that's the low pelican guy. But it was nice because I felt nice. And after that, I used to go a lot on stage, take part in elocutions and stuff. So I think a lot of things are not, we develop things. It's like when I was born, I wouldn't speak that way. Or none of us would. We develop things. And you're saying, how did my education, my college shape things?
Right. How did it give shape to your personality?
I think the time we are in college is a beautiful time because we can experiment, we can try new things out. And I had a lot of free time. So I said, I have a lot of free time. So I started doing a lot of experimentation. So, for example, what I would do is, since I had a lot of free time, I would go and try out different jobs. So I used to just, go like and say, okay, this company is looking for an internship. This company is looking for a job. I would just write and go. So I would also appear for a lot of interviews. I would apply for jobs. I would get selected for some of them. Some of them I didn't like. So I would quit. I quit one job in 5 days. And because it also expands your horizon, it expands your mind. And I also learned French when I was in college. I used to write. I used to do lots of things, and I think it's a beautiful time when you're in college. You can try these things out. I think a lot of your audience might be in college. I'm assuming, your fellow batchmates and your fellow students. I think if you use this time wisely, like 2-3 years, you can really have an edge over others. So by the time you are 21, 22, you're out of college, you have already dealt with a lot of people. You know what you want, you know what you don't want. And there's a sense of freedom, right, in your head. You don't have a lot of pressure. So you should try out things. I think it's a beautiful time. You can learn a new language. And a lot of this came out because I was pretty lonely. Because as I told you, my parents were not there, my school friends were not there. So that loneliness, I think, helped me because, I went in things that were really nice. I got to go on a exchange trip for free to France. I learned a lot. So I think everything you learn, and it's fun, when you're doing productive things. At the end of it, you feel nice. Um, I had a few addictions, so I was addicted to video games. But one fine day, I said, till 2 or 3 in the night, I'm playing video games. I need to get rid of this and play the game of life. Today, also, young people, it's tempting to have addictions, like so many addictions are there, right? Netflix or whatever. So just channelize that energy into something productive, and then that productive thing becomes your addiction. Yeah, so that's I think that's what it is.
Yes, sir, I definitely think, expression is the way to success. And your story has told how much confidence you've gained, overcoming stage fright. That's actually a great advice for us to begin with.
And rejection also, right? When you approach 10 jobs, not all 10 will say, Yogesh, welcome. Most probably 9 will say, no, get lost. So all of that builds up. So it really exposes us to a lot more things, and you meet so many people, and I believe we can learn from everybody. So the more you reach out, we can learn from everybody.
Right. All right. So with this, sir, we move on to our next section. It's called the game of Spark. So what we do here is we're going to give you questions, and you'll be expected to answer in very less time and in the shortest words possible. So probably one-worded answers, one phrase, and you won't be getting a hamper for good answers, but you get the bragging rights that you did well.
Okay.
So that's the motive, and it's basically like a rapid fire round.
Okay.
So let me know when you're ready for it, sir.
I'm ready.
All right, sir. So should I continue?
You can, yeah.
Okay, here comes your first question. What is one thing that you don't want to be doing in 10 years?
I think I've already laughed. Thinking about what not to do. Right. One word, but I have to say one word only.
Not necessary.
Keep it short.
And less time. That's the goal. All right. A fun activity or a skill that you've cultivated during quarantine.
Online programs. We came up with our online programs.
All right. The most adventurous thing that you have done so far in your life?
When I was in college. Okay, in one word, I have to tell you this. Or no, this can be one word or one line.
You can go with one line.
One line.
One line. Okay. Ending up in another city without my family knowing. Ending up in another city. So I'm going to the supermarket. I'm supposed to go to the supermarket, but my parents get a call. I have landed up in a city which is 12 hours away. Yeah.
All right. Choose one, sir. Yogesh the author versus Yogesh the entrepreneur.
That's a tough one. Yogesh the storyteller.
All right.
Interesting.
A book that you're currently reading, sir?
Currently, I'm reading a book by John Ronson. It's called The Psychopath Test.
Oh, okay.
The Psychopath Test, John Ronson. Yeah, it's a funny book. It's a funny book, but it's also a dark book,
Oh, dark. I like dark. All right. What's your favorite book, sir?
My favorite book, there's so many, but my all-time favorite, the book that's really impacted me is the Gita. The Gita. Yeah, the Bhagavad Gita.
All right. Okay. And who is the person that you admire the most in your life?
So many people I admire. I think everybody. So many. I would not be doing justice to any of them. So many.
Long
list. All right. Yeah. If you're an author, which career would have you chosen?
If I wasn't an author, which career would I have chosen? An artist, probably. Yeah, an artist.
Okay.
You can see the wall. That's my son. He's done some green paintings. Can you see some painting on the wall?
Right.
Line,
bottom left. Yes.
An activity that gets your creative juices flowing.
An activity, dancing. I love dancing.
I also like dancing.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Are you a cat person or a dog person?
I love both of them, actually. Both are nice, Both. I like both. I like animals. They're nice.
What has been your favorite social media trend?
My favorite social media
Trend.
trend. Favorite social media trend. My favorite social media trend has been turning off social media on Sunday and spending it with my family.
That's a witty answer.
This is going to reach out to the youth. Definitely.
Yeah, I know. Just turn it off. The favorite social media trend should be just turn it off for some time. Take a breather.
Okay, so what's your comfort food?
My comfort food is pani puri. I love pani puri.
So Mumbaikars can understand.
Yes, I think you all call it golgappa in the north.
Yeah, in North.
My wife is from Delhi, so we have fond memories of eating golgappas in GK area when we used to date. So, yes.
Right.
Okay.
Bengal
So,
sweet. There's a Bengal sweets there.
So the next question, are you a morning or a night person?
Most of my books I write in the night. So all my books I've written in the night because there's this thing about night where it's really quiet and you have no disturbances. But so writing I enjoy doing at night. But other things, business and deals and all, I like morning. But I need 8 hours of sleep at least. I can't function without 8 hours of sleep.
Okay, so what is better, certificates or experience?
I think experience any day. Any day.
Okay, now we have the last question. Money buys happiness, yes or no? What? Money buys happiness, yes or no?
To a certain extent, you need money. To a certain extent, I would say yes. But after that, no. So what do I mean by that? If you don't have food in your stomach, right? You need food, right? You need food. For us to have this conversation, you need a laptop or you need a phone. You need to pay the electricity. You need to pay. So till that extent, yes. But after that, no. So till a certain extent, you need money for your basic survival. But after that, no. So if you think it's only money, no. There's a lot more. But it's a basic tool. It's like breathing. Money is a form of breathing, right? You need to breathe. You need to eat. You need money.
All right. So with this, we end our game of Spark. I think you did pretty well with the questions. And we'd like to jump to our last section of today.
Do I win a virtual hamper? Like, do I win a virtual hamper or a virtual clap? No,
so as you mentioned, you get the bragging rights.
But to give justice to the game of Spark. So yes, you won.
Right. Anyway, we move to the last section of the day. We'd like to ask your advice to our viewers, the final advice. Anybody who's pursuing the same career as you or going through tough times right now, what would your advice be to them?
If anybody wants to, pursue a career, so become an entrepreneur, become an author, become a speaker, any of these things, I feel, or anything you want to do, one great thing you could do is start modeling. What do I mean by modeling? Not walking on the catwalk. That's something if somebody wants to do, they can do. But what I mean is emulate somebody who's done it. So, if you select somebody who's already done it, it becomes easier and faster. So let's say you want to become an author, for example, or you want to do any of those things, find out 3, 4, 5 people who are doing it better than you, who have an edge, reach out to them, work with them. I think modeling, modeling is the best thing somebody could do. What do I mean by modeling? So look at somebody who's already done what you've done, whichever field, you want to be a journalist, you want to be anything, you want to be a doctor, you want to be anything, reach out to people who have already done it. Write them a mail, get an internship with them, get a mentorship with them, learn from them, pick a book, read about them, and start emulating them, So that's what I always do. I look at people who I really admire, look up to, read about them, work with them, call them, email them, meet them, and gain their advice. So if somebody has invested 15, 20 years of their life doing something, if you can get all of that, learnings in say 1 hour, you can speed up your success. You can speed up your life. That's one thing. The second thing is anything you do, it's if you don't face new challenges every day, you're stuck in the same place. You're not growing. You're not doing something new. And humanity, our success is based on that. So let us say, both of you, Riva and Ashna, both of you, did you all really speak so well when you were born? Of course
Nobody
not.
does.
None of us did, right?
Yeah,
We used to
nobody.
babble, we used to gurgle, we would say aga, giga, googie, goo goo. And, we faced embarrassing moments and then we built up a skill. It's the same thing, So whatever you're doing, know you're going to face challenges. Look at it as a game. Look at life as a game, And if you look at everything as a game, yeah, sometimes we lose, sometimes we fall, but we get up again. We get up again and again and again, and have fun with it. Play the video game of life. That's what.
That's really motivating. So it always helps to have a role model, as you said.
Yeah, and anybody, I'll tell you, for example, so when I was in college, I had just taken the auto. So I was having a conversation, I love learning from everybody. So I said, "Kya karte ho aap?" So he said, "मैं auto चलाता हूँ." He says, "अच्छा, I asked, और कुछ करते हो?" He says, "मैंने 2 properties लिए." I said, "बहुत अच्छा, कहाँ पे लिया आपने?" He said, "मैंने मीरा रोड पे लिए," which was that time outskirts of Bombay. I said, "कैसे?" He says, मैंने बैंक से लोन लिया है और जो भी रेंट आती है, मैंने दोनों प्रॉपर्टी रेंट पे दी और जो भी रेंट आती है, that covers the EMI. I said, तो आप तो फिर कुछ नहीं बना रहे हो. If the EMI and the rent is equal, you make 0 money. He said, no, after 10 years, that EMI will be automatically paid by the rent. So after 10 years, that property becomes mine. And the property would have appreciated. And now that becomes an asset that gives me rent. So irrespective of whether I drive the auto or not, that property will give me rent. And he taught me something which my economics teacher at college did not teach me, to have an asset which works whether I'm working or not, to have a rental yield asset, So everybody can teach us something. Everybody around us, we can learn something from them.
Yes, I think I definitely agree with you, sir. Learning is the key, explore and, find your passion. So lastly, beginning on to the very last segment of our session, we'd like to ask you to sign off with a hashtag, a word or phrase, that you want to attribute this episode to, or basically the title of your journey of success.
A word? Just one word?
A word or a phrase, like hashtag.
Just put hashtag Happionaire,
That perfectly sums up our session. It's been a very
Yes, sir.
motivating and happy session. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us again. It's been very motivating, and I'm sure all the viewers also, they're motivated to chase their dreams now after seeing your story. Thank you so much to our viewers also for joining us, and tune in for the next episode soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
sir.
Ashna. Thank you, everybody at Hansraj. Best of luck. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.